as soon as possible, we'll get some updates in our ears.
Yeah. So, what's your prediction for map? Because for me, I'm leaning towards the Dragonshire,
I
actually.
don't know. I do not know, but I do not know what else MVP Black's going to do tonight. Triple support. I have not even dreamed of that coming out from L5. Of course, that last match against Raven was a little bit wonky, but tonight against L5, I was expecting a little more in meta. Something surprising, but not as much as this.
Same. Infernal Shrines will be our second map, and this is going to be a map that we have a lot to talk about because the Solo Shriner is going to be kind of the focal point, if you would think in a series like this, the solo laner. So the top laner, which will be Rich versus Jong'o, right? Last game, it felt like it was the matchup of Rich versus SC on the ranged carry, but I think this is going to be a solo lane matchup that's going to be very important. And I don't believe that Black will allow Ariel to be played this time. They took a risk last time. They had a comp designed to beat it. Remember, it was their map pick, so they knew this strategy. They wanted to build around this. And now they're not as prepared for what L5 is trying to do anymore. We're going to bigger maps. We're going to different things that they didn't necessarily prepare from the beginning. So I do not think this will be a situation where we allow the Ariel through again.
Let's see. Ariel did not win the game for L5, but it was certainly a big hero. Such a power for L5. Also, the big protection came in all the time. This time, Black considering banning Uther first ban. I think this is the map we'll see a little bit more Sonya and Leoric top lane.
Yeah. Sonya, Leoric, and Malthael are the ones to watch out for here. Ariel is banned. L5 is not even going to give MVP Black a chance to use the hero they won with last game. So, Black has options they've shown us throughout the season. The biggest one we've seen here all season long was the Genji, but I don't think that is what they're looking towards here. I would not be shocked by a first pick Lucio, because two supports are already removed. Lucio is considered to be S tier now in Korea. That's a safe pick. The Tassadar is still open, but it feels like when you take Tassadar against L5, you're kind of crippling yourself, as you're not as good at running the task as L5 is. But if you don't take the Tassadar, L5 can take it. So that's kind of a catch-22 position here for MVP Black.
So they're going to go around a little bit and go with the ETC to provide some CC against the dive. Also solid protection for your team's DPS, and also the supports in the back line. This map also has pretty small choke points. If you can power slide multiple targets and land on great bosses, that can be a game-changing tool. First pick ETC.
First pick ETC is so powerful in the early game too. You can dominate the lanes, you can threaten ganks, you can threaten picks. ETC is considered by many to be the strongest hero from level 1 at getting picks, you know, with other tanks like Diablo. And L5 will need to be wary of this. Now, what you would think as an L5 fan, as someone who's followed the scene for a long time, is that, especially going back to watching their mid-season Brawl games, it feels like this is going to be a Tassadar rotation, something where they build into that hyper carry. That is their strength. But they take the Lucio over the Tassadar with this, with the Vala now coming in.
Because there are a lot more supports available. Even Morales, you just saw from Black happening. Rhaegar also available sometimes, and oftentimes Kharazim. So there are a lot of choices. Once Anna joins, there will be even more choices with the supports.
Whether or not we see hyper carry out of Black will be discovered immediately upon seeing whether or not Rhaegar is locked in here. If Rhaegar is locked in here, you could reasonably assume they will go down that central DPS role. But if Rhaegar is not locked in here, of course it will be banned, and it means that Black wants to play mages here. They could pick a mage right now. That's absolutely a possibility. We could see the Gul'dan come out. We could see the Jaina. But this is basically the direction they want to take this draft will be decided now. Initially, it was just simply the ETC for power pick, S-tier tank. You've got good early game. You've got good late game Maj pits. This is going to be where they take the draft, which direction we head.
For now, just a solid agreement along with the support, and they take Tassadar before the ban phase. Okay, rest are very secure that others are available as options. So for the burst, for the wave clear and the balanced one, along with the possible mosh pit, they needed some burst. So instead of picking mage before, which there are lots of different mages, and Greymane, of course, there was only one. So prioritizing Greymane before.
They took the Tastar over the Rhaegar, which surprises me. This is not a very Black-esque thing to do, and what I worry about is if L5 bans the Rhaegar now, which they're definitely considering, then you end up, we're going to have a crazy game with weird supports, but Black, if they end up with Kharazim with the Greymane, Kharazim doesn't have Cleanse, not early, and will not be able to, if he uses Palm to protect the Greymane, then the Greymane's not doing damage during that moment. Tyrael is still a good ban here too, let's not forget, that's a strong move.
That's right, I was about to mention Tyrael. Tyrael Sanctification on that Mosh will be just perfected. Chromie! I knew Chromie was going to be a secret card for one of these teams for tonight's match, but not on this map though. Maybe L5 is thinking on a different page as I am.
Morales ban, that feels like an odd choice given that if they ban Morales, then L5 will almost be forced to take the Rhaegar, and then Black has to deal with the Kharazim. But there's so many supports, it feels so funny to say that. But I feel like Rhaegar is way better for Black than the Kharazim. And they will never get the Kharazim if they ban the Rhaegar. Or sorry, they'll never get the Rhaegar if they ban the Rhaegar. So it's a convoluted way of saying what I wanted to say. Looking at the Tyrael ban here. And the Morales ban is the one that surprises me. I think the Morales ban means that L5 will probably take the Rhaegar now.
It's also the grenades provide the CC to stop the Mosh. And so I think Morales pick does follow the line of thinking.
This does tell us also that these two teams, from what Black has studied and what they've been scouting, both of these teams think that Stim Drone Vala is a powerful tool right now. They've both have definitely been working together to develop this, and I mean, we saw it last game. Black bans it. At the very least, Black thinks it's incredibly powerful, and it probably means they hit L5 in scrims, and L5 was showing it a lot, so they're banning this.
With the Morales ban, what other support are they going to do? Tastar on the other side. Lucio does not provide burst healing.
Taking down.
You think we'll see a Stukov here, as the silence can be somewhat of an effective tool?
They want to save it. They want to save it. Tyrael, Johanna for the blinds, and the wave clear. Very powerful on this map. Malfurion Gul'dan. This is the second time now we see the Malfurion Gul'dan. And for L5, will it just simply be the Rhaegar pick? Not as strong with Vala as it is with Greymane.
First it was MVP Miracle, now MVP Black also using Malf with Gul'dan. Of course, with Tassadar does have the sustain and lots of protection.
So, what's it going to be? Another alternative here against the Gul'dan specifically, which is so strong against double support to disrupt the Vala comp, is to actually pick a DPS. They will take the Stukov instead, though. They want to out-sustain, out-heal the slow damage that comes in from Gul'dan.
But does the Vala really follow up along with the Tyrael Johanna diving in? Maybe they're just there for protection. But Gul'dan will just outrange Vala in a way. That's exactly why Gul'dan was appearing so many times against the auto attacks in other regions.
Gonna be a big question, man, and this draft is yet again another draft for MVP Black that does not have a traditional solo laner. So we'll see if this is just going to be heavy rotations early game with the ETC. You have to imagine that is the plan. They want to get picks early against the lack of mobility here for the Stukov especially. Let's head into game number 2, guys. L5 leads 1-0. Can MVP Black tie it up? We're going to find out on Infernal Shrines. In blue, Reset on Gul'dan, Sake on Tastar, Kyocha on Malfurion, Rich on Greymane, and Tist on ETC.
And in red, L5, Hooligan on Joanna SCSC, on Vala, Jungha on Tyrael, SDE on Lucio, and Swoi on Stukov.
So Rich being on Greymane means they might have Greymane in the solo lane and have Gul'dan in the 4-man because that is very powerful.
Let's see, they may just rotate Tastar up there for the wave clear and to soak in EXP.
That's definitely been something we've seen quite a lot. And, you know, Tastar doesn't really gain much in terms of resets sustain here that Kocha will already be providing. Okay, look at the positioning here of Tist. He's not able to get an angle. Actually going very far forward here. Wants to get the back power slide, but is silenced.
That's what Swoi was looking for, so they could possibly get a pick onto Tist, but not enough.
This is what we thought. It was going to be very likely the Greymane Tyrael top lane. Very difficult for L5 to win this bottom lane against Malfurion.
Look at the rotation
Gul'dan.
from L5. They're trying to pressure into Greymane because Greymane will not win lane against Tyrael.
So this is a smart move. It's a lane swap because, as you say, Tyrael cannot win against Greymane, and they know that they're going to have trouble in the bot lane anyways, so they're lane swapping here. He's going to force Tastar up. Will this work in the end? I'm not sure because L5 is sending only one mid, and they're having the Malfurion and Gul'dan still doing so much against them in the bot and the mid together. And they only got a little bit of damage done to the top wall. So even though this is a smart lane swap by L5, I think that Black definitely wins out the trade here.
Gul'dan, so Black has to keep Gul'dan alone here instead of having Malfurion on long because they have to match in numbers. ETC may be severely damaged, may actually have to tap on to the fountain and later on go back Hearthstone when this important shrine phase happens. So Lucio harassing a little bit onto Gul'dan.
Okay, Shrine's going to be mid here. L5 in positional advantage at the moment. We are very even in this game. Tist the target here, looking for a potentially back power slide again to just slide back into the fight. Does not get the angle he was looking for.
We actually see stage dive because there are so many tools on the other side to cancel the mosh pit. The Blessed Shield, silence from Stukov.
Potential Rain of Vengeance. All right, Tist is trying to again have the best angle possible, but they want to pick. They don't want to. He doesn't want to get a 5-man, so that's not what he wants. He wants to get an isolated pick on a squishy hero. But the silence is going against Rich here. He has the shield, but it's not enough. Power slide just too late here, and this looks like a 1 shrine already for L5.
The silence was incredible. Rich was in aggressive positioning. He could have just backed out to the left bush there.
L5's understanding of these choke points is really, really impressive. Understanding where to place these AoE abilities. We saw already Hooligan destroying with the Anubarak on choke points on Curse. Now we're seeing the really well-placed pustules coming out from Swoi. It's not pustules, sorry, Lurking Arms coming out from Swoi. And this is going to be a Mortal Punisher, which will get just the wall here because L5 doesn't have a great sieging comp. They split. They actually have members in all 3 lanes, so looking for soak in all 3. That's why they take a pretty significant experience lead despite not getting much structural damage done.
Ooh, interesting choice by Gul'dan. Instead of tap on for its consume soul instead. He wants to have a solo lane and really try to sustain himself as Malfurion may need to rotate around, not nearby the cooldown all the time. Maybe he's just trying to survive. But in the long team fight though, Gul'dan may be out of health or out of mana because of that.
It's always a risk or like a danger to consider for sure. I think that this is such a great pairing. We've seen it twice now because Malfurion has a longer healing. You just kind of have mana forever as Gul'dan, it feels like. You've also got Innervate to help out with that, and cooldown reduction is so crazy powerful for Gul'dan because his abilities are already on short cooldowns, so he can just spam out more damage. As you can see here with the Fells, he's just tossing out. He did go Echoed Corruption. We haven't really had many looks at that talent today. Oh, here's the silence again.
And focused, and he's dead.
The burst heals are not enough when these silences come in. And we thought the early game was going to be dominated by the ETC. We thought we were going to see aggressive rotations. It's Black who's finding themselves rotated upon here. And Swoi is shutting him down so many times.
Well, Shield will do will be a lot more effective if they have something like Lunara, Vala, if they can kite when they're going back so they can heal themselves when they get the shield from Tastar, but not at all for Greymane, and especially for Gul'dan.
Malfurion doesn't have Cleanse anymore. If he had Cleanse too, this would have been a very different situation. He does not have it. Tastar does not have Cleanse, so this is a situation where you have to, you know, when you get caught in a position like that, you have to accept death. I mean, there's no way out of it. They try to shield him, they try to heal him, but they don't have burst heals. They only have the shield and the slow heal. So when picks come through, they don't have an Uther heal to save him. And they won't have anything like that post 10 either.
That's exactly the power of Silence coming in. Voice Silence has been pretty effective. I believe that's going to happen over and over again because there are many choke points like this around the shrine. So just trying to catch some. There's a good CC on the other side. Big
roots coming through here. Reset is the target again. The Silence comes through. He is down. They're going to trade this 1-for-1 though. Power Slide's coming in. Looking for another pick here. Is SD going to go down? He will. Kocha gets the kill there.
Nice angle to Rich Saw to go grab Vala, as Vala was also trying to get the kill onto Gul'dan. That's a good trade. Now who win the Shrine though? That's a sustain-wise L5 has on top.
Yeah, but sorry, already so much is cleared here for MV Black. Rich is clearing up so many of these minions at the moment. Looks like L5 wants to try to get a trade here, or at least get a kill.
Power Slide to the right.
Just want to buy time to secure the objective. I think this is worth it for him to die for this. Bought a lot of time. They're going to get it completed no matter what now. Denying 2 more region globes to Johanna as well. They needed this so badly. They had to get it because if they lost it, L5 would have it and 10. So they were just not willing to take any chances. Was it necessary he needed to die? No.
I don't think so. He has crowds at 4, so I thought he could have just went over the wall and he had Gul'dan coming out, so there was sacrifice was not really needed, but that's his choice. And it will take some time, but this Punisher went to Black regardless.
So now Black catches up with 10. Never going to be in a position where they have 10 and a Punisher against them where they don't have it themselves. So maybe an unnecessary death at the grand scheme of things, but they took whatever means necessary to get the 10. They've got it now. Mission accomplished. We're going to see Horrify, which is one of the biggest parts of this entire composition. Why they picked Gul'dan is to disrupt the supports, to disrupt the long fighting of the Vala.
This is holding up on the mosh pit. I believe he really has to land on a perfect like 4-man, 5-man mosh pit if he wants to have a fun time dancing in there.
It's really going to be risky if he does that. I agree with you. I'd rather see the stage dive. Black has been picked many times this game because of the really well-placed silences coming out from Swoi. They are going to commit to the mosh pit regardless here.
Wow, and there's...
Because he wants this, that's why he locks it in for the pick. Will they get it? Tyrael here has such a large health pool, but he gets blown up before he can use his Sanctification. Blessed Shield coming in for the counter engage, though.
He may have overstepped his line. Big Silence actually helps Hooligan to survive that.
They didn't even use Twilight Dream. Will it be worth it in the end? We'll see. But sometimes you have to see those snap lock-ins to get these picks. So cool to see.
That was a great timing for them to make a comeback like this because they were about the same EXP and now they're at even. Maybe this will snowball a little bit more towards Black, but still, I'm worried. Let's see a little more.
Okay. Will they go for the invade here? Tyrael's back. He has Sank. I think invading is a bad choice, especially Jung is in position to just toss in the Aldruins. He's perfectly ready to go ahead and Sank that if he needs to. They're not going to invade completely. It's going to be the top shrine that they head up towards now. Everyone's there first for MVE Black. They'll have the positional advantage. We're at the same level, same talent tier. And with the exception of the Mosh, all heroics available. Okay, Hooligan's coming in. He wants the big condemn. They want to make this their engage. Silence going in. The target is Tastar. He will be killed.
Because of the silence, you could not even use the shift there. Nice use of Blessed Shield
and
to engage the fight.
In just one moment, this is a shrine for L5. MVE Black does not even consider a contest now.
It's not just the focusing from L5. It's Swoi, his use of Lurking Arm. The positioning is perfect every single time. And MVP Black for even ETC to escape even.
Horrify. They want this. They want this pick. I don't know if they're going to get it this time. Sank is available. He is going to use it right there. Very well done. SD comes into position. Does have to use Sound Barrier. They use 2 heroics for 1.
They will get the Punisher. So I think that's a fair trade.
They will get the Punisher, indeed. And they save their members. Not going to have these heroics for the push. You can make the argument they don't really need to. They weren't going to have... Sanquid and a Sound Bearer wasn't going to get them, like, the craziest keep or something like that, very likely with this. They don't have a good sieging comp. They have good wave clear, which, of course, helps the minion wave go with the Punisher, but they don't have poke. So getting picks here, even with those heroics, would be very difficult. Okay, SC is charging forward, though. They actually want to make this happen. Rain of Vengeance, the silence! He will get out, though, just barely. Twilight Dream only hitting the Tyrael here.
The swipes will happen, will help them disengage, just like that. So they have that many tools, that many CCs. And as an ETC favorite, I would not take Mosh Pit. I do not have the guts, but he does.
Reset is greedy in trying to finish that. That good corruption. So let's see what happens now, because I feel like what L5 has been able to identify is whoever is too far forward, because they don't have cleanse, we just focus them down. We use everything we have to get the kill. Blessed Shield, Rain of Vengeance, and all of Allah's auto attacks going to that target. And they've been able to do that consistently 3 times now. So I think Black needs to try to be more proactive in terms of taking the fight to their side of the map. Make it so Stukov can't have those perfect silences because he's being pressured, because he has to use it early. Being more aggressive with the Horrifies, being more aggressive with the Go for the Throat.
I think Horrify can be a very good counter when they try to focus down, when the silence comes down on the ground. I think it has to be used to save his teammate.
Because if we just keep watching the same sort of attempted slow rotation macro play, the safe play out of Black, every time they make one mistake, because they'll never be perfect, right? No one ever is, or else this wouldn't be an esport, and we've already decided who the best players were.
We're not human then.
Yeah. So when they do make a mistake, L5's comp is so good at punishing, and their execution of these punches have been so good that I don't think that that's what you should be doing, is just running around and avoiding the fights, because they will be brought to you anyways. I think trying to engage onto them is the better option here. They have the ETC, they have the Horrify, and the Twilight Dream. Could ruin everything L5's designed to do with this. Reset still doesn't have Echoed Corruption. Another big power spike they will get eventually. L5's going to have 16 before that, though. Such an apt timing to get this right before the Shrine.
And by Camp-wise, Greymaine's on top, still taking a lot of time. Macro-wise, L5 is winning this big because the Shrine will help in 14 seconds. I believe the bottom camp will be coming up very soon also. And they do have this. MVP Black has some time, but they need a lot more time before 16. And this Shrine, by that time they hit 16, maybe up to 20 or 25, even more.
Okay, headed in. I don't know if Black can wait for 16 at this point. Joanna actually being very aggressive in the mid lane. Greymaine's not even here. Rich will need to come down if they really want to commit to this. They're winning it for now, and they're getting closer to 16. Okay, L5 just really wants to start to take control of this. Rich taking the safer path around the left side. Hooligan is trying to spot him out, though. Horrify gets used. This is the start of a good fight. The Twilight Dream, but perfect positioning from ST allows a Sound Bearer. It's a multi-man Mosh. Swoy tosses out the lurking arm, but it's too late. SC is dead. And now this is a one fight for Black. That's the proactive play I was talking about. Use their massive disruptive tools to win the fight. Mosh Pit, Twilight Dream, and Horrify all used to win that fight to get the one pick that they needed.
Horrify was the best counter when they were trying to focus down with the Holy Ground. There was a big 4-man mosh. 4-man mosh. Of course, it was canceled right after with the swipe, but that was enough needed to focus Vala for that 1 second, and now Gul'dan push completed. Has a power spike now.
He has a huge power spike here, and this is going to be such an opportunity for Black to turn the series around. Hooligan, really nice Iron Skin here. Just trying to draw this Punisher in. Stun's coming through, though. Tist wants him here. He doesn't have Indestructible yet. Holy Ground coming in for Jungha. He wants to settle a place for them to engage, but it doesn't matter.
Rich dives in.
He's dead.
Crazy. He dives in alone without the support. He knows how much damage he's going to do alone.
Sank coming through here. He wanted to set up the proactive Sank for SC, but unfortunately SC died before the fight could even happen. Sank had to be used defensively here. No DPS now on the side of L5. They don't have the tank, and it looks like Rich, with that play, diving into the backline, knowing how much damage he could do when the supports weren't there. The Sanctification wasn't there. They're going to use this Horrify now to commit to the core. Sound Barrier is used here, but there's just no damage.
There's no damage, and Core is going down. This Punisher is still punching onto the core, and that's going to be game going to MVP Black. That last dive from Rich alone, I don't think he is a human being. His calculation of the damage that he knows the output of the Greymane, Follow was deleted.
Yeah, Tyrael dove in with the Holy Ground to try to set up for a fight where they could get an isolated pick where SC dives in. He hits the Sank as SC's coming through. But Rich killed him before that could happen. There was a disjointed moment, and for 1 millisecond, when SC wasn't in the right place, that was all it took, and that was the end. There is no burst heals there. There's no Divine Shield. Rich came in. He knew what he needed to do. And in both games, it feels like now, it's the game of kill that DPS. Double support. The carry determines the fight, and if you win that carry matchup, Rich is playing range carry, by the way. Maybe he switches positions when this meta solidifies. I mean, it is a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah, it's always beautiful. I blinked, and Vala was gone, and instead, Rich was there. And that's how quickly Vala was deleted, and that was amazing to see, and that was the end of the game. I was thinking the L5 could have actually kept protecting the keep and actually could survive this, but that one play decided the game like that.
Yeah, well guys, we are going to take a very short break before we go into game number 3. The series is just heating up, so we'll come back in a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. See you then.